A star placed on top of a Yule Tree, a conical Christmas tree, is something all humanity should be sharing. The Human Origin Day special celebration. Looking at these three stories, we're going to see how they merge: the prophecies of Abraham, the second coming, and how it ties into Lady Liberty. It became known as the Bethlehem Star, the three kings that follow from the east to find the birth star of the Christ using Orion. It was shared by all humanity. In the Judas Codex, he shows Judas, "This is also your star." The ancients' bull worship and sun veneration obsession has a completely different meaning to what archaeologists are telling you. A sun and the bull of Taurus, it's a sun-like star that they venerated as the ancestor star in Taurus. That is where my work is different to everybody else's.
Wayne Herschel has dedicated his life to reviving the lost teachings of the Christ, ever since his near-death experience, and what he learned through it. A sense of responsibility to bring sacred knowledge forward persists, since it has the potential to unite humanity, and end all wars. A star with a beam of light once represented the origin record of the so-called Egyptian gods. It's the place to begin with, providing the biggest evidence. It also seems to be the same secret, adapted into what became the allegorical works of wisdom, of the historical Templars and Freemasons. Most controversially of all, it was encoded into the famous Key of Solomon cipher, that one of the most famous mystery fiction writers of all time, almost wrote a book about. But something stopped him. The ancient rituals predating the Christ were all about measuring the special position of an unconquered sun star, rising above the horizon on December 25th.
Have you ever wondered why a conical Yule tree, that the Norse decorated with a star on top of it, was adapted to celebrate the origins of the Christ, and a star associated with his birth? The well-known Urbi et Orbi might once have been linked to this ritual, watching Rome's monuments and 7 hills mirroring the heavens, while holding the Holy Grail, in this remembrance of celestial communion of all humanity's angelic human bloodline origins.
In 2005, authors Wayne Herschel and Birgit Lederer explored the Senmit tomb. Inside, hidden in plain sight, is the definitive sealing record of the gods founding Egypt. Horace Soker as Orion Man shows the way to the leg of the bull star cluster, which then shows the way to the tiny sun star in the night sky. Goddess Circuit stretches a cord, representing the wormhole conduit to our solar system, and seen once again, with a scorpion. Wayne suddenly realized Scorpio might be the view of where our local sun is seen when viewed from the Pleiades. It is true. We need one more clue to decode all the secret symbols here. The UK's Cern Abbas giant in Dorset is Orion Man. But unlike the encoded secret rod, or his belt showing the way, it is his male anatomy.
Now the mural comes full circle. A line joins the phallus symbol with Orion Man. The mystery is decoded. The dot and circle symbol origin is revealed.
Orion Man shows the way. You follow that strange little object that man is holding. A line joins to the 3 stars of Orion's belt as Horus, to find the leg of the bull stars, which are the Pleiades. Then follow the direction of the 2 hoof stars to find the star of our ancestors. All the gods came down this beam of light from that star down to earth. Can it be more simple than that? There it is up close.
The sun symbol denotes any sun with a planet, either alien or not. Wayne Herschel has decoded many ancient symbols for suns, but never ever, not for one moment, did he realize he would include this star map connection with the origins of Christmas itself. The conical beam of light from the sun star that we are about to see repeat in multiple cases might be one of the lost teachings of the Christ, actually celebrating human origins from a star that is also his star. The conical beam of light from our origin star, Wayne believes, is the Christmas tree tradition, celebrating our human origins from a sun-star system. Long before the Christ celebrated December the 25th, the ancient Romans celebrated this unconquered sun on this day, called Sol Invictus. How was this knowledge lost or repressed?
See my Dendara Zodiac disc special video at the details in the description. It is the same star map. I take it a little bit further here, just looking at the Stargate aspect. Okay, let's have a little bit closer look at some details. There's a Stargate aspect to its design as well. I believe it's looking at a window through the Stargate device, and the address being at the middle of it. If it's a window to the most important part of the stars and the Genesis story, we have standing in the west situation where we are the viewer looking in an easterly direction and north and south to the sides. Now there's a quite important clue there, because if that's true, it's on the horizon. It's measuring this Genesis star rising on the horizon, and we can measure on a star program that angle and see if it really is the Pleiades. And that is what we're going to measure, and here is our star program, confirmed. Looking in an easterly direction on the horizon at Christmas Day, I think it is, yes, Christmas Eve. That is the star constellation angle. It's an exact match. So we have now more proof of it being the Pleiades. But here's the breakthrough. That is the little window we're looking at. Standing in the west, looking east, Pleiades, 3 sun-like stars, 2 that are very important in most of my star maps. The third one has a lot of movement. This one is moving at a heck of a pace. 100,000 years ago, it was in this position. That's where it is today. What do we have on the first degree tracing board? The same 7 stars and the same angle above the horizon. It seems to be an exact match. So Dendara matches the first degree tracing board with those stars. Now there's a second legend of Genesis where instead of Taweret they use the goddess Nut, and her womb is that triangulation, and this birthing of the most important sun star is shown coming from her womb in a separate tradition. This one probably predates the Taweret tradition, because Taweret is a hippo, it's Egypt. It's on Earth. It's probably only about maybe 12,000 years old at the most, but this even predates it from ancient teachings. As above, so below. That's the triangle pointing up, the triangle pointing down.
History's legend of the Key of Solomon holds valuable ancient knowledge. Wayne believes it has a star map, with a Stargate teaching. The Clavicular Solomonese ancient manuscript, in the British Library, reveals Aramaic and Hebrew symbols.
When I first saw this talisman in the Clavicular Solomonese manuscript, I noticed Orion was there, and I've ringed it here, and you can see the belt stars aligning with the star in the middle. I knew exactly that that outer ring with little lines added to the stars is a puzzle piece, a cipher puzzle. Just as we saw where Solomon binds the constellations. Look at the little lines that join Orion, for example. And he joins them with his, what I think was once a laser device built into his ring. And he shows a star with worlds around it. Would we see that in this talisman? That is the question. That outer ring is more like a Stargate device, in my opinion. Now, of course, Stargates are a big part of my story, as you'll see in the main documentary. But that star in the middle with a beam of light needs to have its orientation puzzle pieces to build what I'm expecting is the Pleiades, just like the leg of the bull, in that orientation rising on the horizon, as it does in ancient Egypt, in all the other ancient star maps that I've found. But would I find it?
The left talisman is the actual key aspect of Solomon. A Templar cross star map with a double cross. It is Orion. It has Orion's nebula sword and the head cluster. Looking now at the larger ring cipher, we have the complete cross of Orion. The extra detail fulfills Orion's head and sword stars. The puzzle begins here. We must follow Orion's belt to the star in the center, with beam of light and 4 orbs. The Egyptian Tuaket symbols identifies our local sun's path from horizon to horizon. It reveals the ecliptic.
To solve the cipher puzzle, start by following the alignment to the first dial-up symbol. Each component is a piece of a constellation. Proceed anti-clockwise, and watch it reveal itself. Wayne says, what we have here has to be a Stargate window. It shows the correct star cluster orientation above the eastern horizon of a very old Pleiades. Once with 8 stars, an X-ray nebula today replaces the perished one. The ecliptic is a match, where the X marks the spot sun star is found.
As above, so below. Triangular monuments representing Orion's belt, pointing skyward to the Pleiades star area, with 3 suns. Can there be any bigger evidence to uphold Herschel's theories? There exists one, not so ancient star map that needs to be revealed. Herschel has been very respectfully careful of his interpretation of it. One that has many of the Society's members embrace it. Some, however, prefer it be left unsolved, allegorical and mysterious. The first degree tracing board details the story of the biblical Jacob's ladder. For Herschel there are 3 Orion symbols, on the very same Senmut beam of light or ladder.
Looking eastwards, through the window, the 3 pillars on the ground, like in Rome, appear to mark the 3 sun stars. They're rising above the horizon, shown in correct orientation with the Pleiades. The light beam, or ladder, to the sacred star, depicts ladder steps, much like degrees of arc in astronomy, to measure 33 degrees distance. The old way to measure it in the sky, with instruments that predated the sextant device, as you see here.
Measure 33 degrees of arc at 90 degrees from the horizon to find the star of the gods. Okay, so this is a Christ story, but it should not be just the story of the Christ. It's Human Origins Day celebration throughout all tribes, all nations. From a sun-like star. 25th of December should be remembered like this. How long will it take for people to learn the importance of these 3 great documents? The Star of Ra in Egypt, the Masonic first degree tracing board, and the Key of Solomon. All 3 create that conical beam of light to the star where they came down from above. Ancient Egypt, ancient Europe, and ancient Israel. What a coincidence. Nations all at war with each other. How can it be? It's time to change. 3 great nations that celebrate heavenly teachings and the same founding father of Abraham from Ur in Mesopotamia, a great Sumerian founding father. According to a 2012 cosmic message delivered to Earth at its Genesis site, something amazing happened. It left a message, but it's a terrible message, that the war of all wars will begin February 2024. it's involving the prophecies of Abraham and this message, that it's definitely tied to the Abrahamic lineage. But we need to address this now because it could be very serious. There is where the message was delivered. You can see it right at the center of the Atlantis ruins. It's covering the second coming details, that we can identify that it is tied into our biblical stories through the book of Revelation. That the man that holds 7 stars in his right hand, as the Sumerians have also identified, stepping off Taurus, is this event of first contact, where the planets align with some very important stars, and we have a solar eclipse right at ground zero, Atlantis ruins. That's the secret that changes everything, and that's the one that needs to be followed after this documentary. But there is my Patreon address. Please consider joining me. I can't do this on my own. Let's make that little spark that I am right now into a great big movement of flame keepers.